Welcome to the Northeast. No bullshit fillers, grade A pure beef. It's that gang star, it's that mob deep, it's that Jedi mind, it's them hard beats. I'll take your coat. Welcome to the Northeast. No bullshit fillers, grade A pure beef. It's that gang star, it's that mob deep, it's that Jedi mind, it's them hard beats. I'm Northeast like the Yankees versus the Red Sox. Fred Flintstone and PA is my bedrock. I go for the throat, homie, apply the headlock. Hop on a train and Philly is my next stop. I'm at a deadlock, I stay giving them hell. Take you to Philly, brief rock your Liberty Bell. I'm convinced that we're living in hell. We got some long winters that'll give you the chills. The Northeast needs to unite, find a way to rebuild. We ill, reinforce the walls with steel, for real. I'm blessed to be from the Northeast. We grind 24/7 and ignore sleep. Peace to the birthplace of hip-hop. The first MC, the first producer and disc jock. Oldest streets in America, enjoy the gridlock. You're ever in the area, make sure you make a pit stop.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. So, the first episode we ever did, we're gonna label that kind of ground zero. That one's some lost footage. It's probably gonna actually go under the rug for a bit. But, and I actually haven't listened to it in forever, but 'tis Mania season! Today is Tuesday as we are recording this and getting this situated, but we watched Monday Night Raw last night. We as in myself. We're going to be hopefully getting Bull and or John on the pod here in the next, day or, couple days, whatever, as Mania season is upon us, and we get ready at the very tail end of the road to WrestleMania. I apologize for the headphone users. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking about Monday Night Raw from April 14th, 2025, this past evening. We're going to be talking some quick updates on the channel. We're going to go down the WrestleMania card and go over the WrestleMania weekend, give some thoughts. And then we're going to go over Raw for the go-home show for Raw. Overall, we're going to do the episode breakdown and then do the WrestleMania week look after the Raw breakdown. But then we're probably going to do the Raw stuff and then do WrestleMania stuff. So, without further ado, let's get into the updates. As far as updates for the channel goes, not too much. This is the first big project that we've really been working on. Life is as it is, and we've, myself and John and a few of the other people that we've been wanting to work with and bringing in, we have been really trying to do a collaborative work with a few different people, but at the moment, we're still early on. Before I continue and everything with updates, I do want to thank everybody who's been subscribing to the channel. We're almost to, I believe, 600 and or 550, something like that. We're getting close. Let me open that up. I actually haven't checked within the past few days, just been busy with life as it is. But the channel growth has been crazy in the last month, especially since the beginning of the year. And I really appreciate y'all and all the new subscribers. Feel free to make sure to turn on notifications. We're going to be trying to do some new stuff here as of late, other than the podcast. And speaking of things that we've been wanting to do, one of the few videos that we are working on, I am currently having issues with OBS. So if anybody knows OBS and would be willing to, get a hold of us via Facebook, Instagram, and or Twitter, everything linked in the description and everything below. But I won't lie, I'm doing most of the editing as far as OBS and a lot of that stuff. We're going to be trying to do some game capture stuff here soon, hopefully. But at the same time, I'm still fresh new of learning OBS overall. I'm a beginner. So that's probably evident from some of our previous Fallout New Vegas playthroughs on the channel. But we finally got a wrestling belt review coming. I'm not going to spoil any major details or anything like that, but we're finally going to be doing our first belt review for the channel. I've been wanting to do one for ages, and I've been wanting to just add to the personal collection. This will be going more or less. The belt itself is part of my personal collection. The only clue is that it is a WWE Championship replica of a championship that was contested at the Hershey Park Arena. The Giant Center. That's the only clue, because that's the bulk. Any WWE Championship contested at the Hershey Park Arena or the Hershey Giant Center. ECW, ROH. Those are the big three right now. To start off, all Pennsylvania, more or less Pennsylvania-based promotions. The goal for ECW is to get the OG one. They started in '93 when Shane discarded the NWA belt. That version of the ECW Championship with the outline of Pennsylvania on it. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. Found an amazing website that has them. I haven't bought anything from them yet. I'm still looking at some of the reviews and kind of iffy, but obviously with certain certain replicas and stuff like that, you're going to be looking at Pakistani maids, and there have been, from my research over the last few years, looking at getting just a Pakistani made one, and then more than likely, I'll be honest with you guys right off the bat, I'm not going to tell you the design, I'm not going to tell you the belt or nothing, but I will tell you that I do plan on getting it re-leathered at some point. Other than that, that's really about it. The belt review is going to be the first big project I'm trying to get it done. Like I said, if I can get my OBS figured out of the issues that I'm having, then yeah, I believe my graphics card needs updated, and I myself am not computer smart enough. I myself am overall still in the very early learning stages of running OBS, putting stuff out, recording certain things. Like I said, with the retro review, we're still working on that. I'm still trying to figure out how to present the retro review, whether we want to try to do video where it's like us talking, or it's just us audio, just us talking, and then having the actual video of the event right there, or try to skip the copyright and go from there. Other than that, there's a few other things channel wise. Bull John, he has been working on his own Spotify and everything like that for his own individual podcast, so I'll be making sure to link that in the description as well. But other than that, that's about it for the channel updates and everything like that. Let's get into the the Raw review. Let's get into the Raw review for Monday Night Raw, April 14th, 2025. So we open up the show overall with the world title promo, or the Gunther promo at the start of the show. Gunther came out like he was on fucking fire, and Michael Cole and them were like, oh, well, this is supposed to happen later on in the show. I guess it's happening now, which I like. Gunther's pissed enough that he's going to break the card and come out and everything. Overall, I thought it was okay. The show, as many have said and everything, it was a lot of promos. It was a lot of pre-recorded packages and hype packages and stuff like that. The matches that we had, overall, were good. I didn't mind a lot of the matches. It was just a lot of sitting and watching stuff like that, and like for me, like a lot of those hype packages we'll glance over. I'm more or less interested in the matches and the wrestling and stuff personally, but overall, I think the show was good, but it was just a lot of hype packages and a lot of promos, and I was like, okay, all right, I don't mind a lot of people talking. Obviously, there's going to be promos. It's the go-home show of Raw for WrestleMania. There's going to be hype packages, and there's going to be a lot of that kind of stuff. One of the lines that I liked when Gunther was referencing beating the fuck out of Jimmy, was it 2 weeks ago on Raw, or the week prior? And he had said that that he's in control. People are saying that he's losing control, and he's not. And if I wasn't in control, I'd have bathed both of you in Jimmy's blood. And I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. That whole angle with Gunther handcuffing Jay and watching him beat Jimmy, like, that was cool. It gave me flashbacks of Orton handcuffing Triple H and then attacking Stephanie. But overall, like, the segment was good. Gunther's promo was good. It then goes to it does the entrances for it then goes to one-on-one Bayley versus Liv Morgan. It does the Liv Morgan. They do Liv Morgan's entrance, and then they cut to Bianca's pre-recorded promo. Bianca points so with something I gotta point out. I love gear. Obviously, gear is one of the bigger points and presentational points of professional wrestling. Fucking Liv. I love Liv and Raquel. I like their presentation. I like how they've worked. I slept on, well, I guess that's not how I want to say it. I underestimated Liv's work up until this point, up until probably she did the big program of winning the world title with Rhea and all that stuff after Rhea won the world title. After that world title program, I didn't really pay attention to Liv for a while up until that point. She's a good worker. She does really well. Bayley's Bayley. She's awesome. Phenomenal. What I was saying about gear though, Bayley's gear really cool. I really like Bayley's gear. The kind of almost 80s Tron-esque. That's kind of where I thought of it. But Liv, man, I don't know if anybody else caught it, but like the corset portion of her gear, she had like externally pierced nipples on the external of her gear, and I had to pause it and like look close and start laughing. I thought that was so funny, but at the same time, for her character in the presentation, absolutely phenomenal. I thought that was such a funny touch and such a great touch. I gotta say it, pretty much every woman on the show, and this is coming from a perspective of a 30-year-old adult married father. I will say this out of respect, and obviously they are presented as such. All the girls are gorgeous. Bayley, Liv, Raquel, Lyra, Io, Rhea, Bianca. I'm trying to think of like who else female wise is on the card right off the top of my head. But like all the female talent that they have, all of them are absolutely phenomenally gorgeous. So I'll just get that out of the way, all that kind of stuff. The only major notes that I personally had, I did have a lot more notes than I actually. So Raquel overall is great. Heel wise, I'd like to see her after they break the tag and everything between her and Liv. I wouldn't mind seeing her with an IC run, with a women's IC run. I feel like she would be an amazing example for a bit of a mid-carder getting an IC title, actually elevating themselves. They're working harder. The IC title, whether women's or men's, should be held in the same regard as the workhorse title. You gain that title to prove that you can be a champion, but then you take that title and prove yourself onward as a long-term, like, oh, hey, I can be that representation, that kind of thing. Like, I can be that champ that can go long-term, be able to push talent and be able to stay there, but also be able to, hey, book me in a tag with the main eventers and I can still go and, hey, this is a preview of the main event that I could be. Sorry, I'm reading all my notes and my handwriting is terrible. Like I said, Liv is a lot better than I had personally realized. Lyra, this whole match, like, Raquel was doing amazing heel work, working the camera, working the, Bayley, when she was doing spots with Liv in ring, like, Raquel was yelling at her and, like, doing stuff to, I think, like, pissing with Michael Cole and shit like that. But then, like, you see cuts to Lyra, and she's just standing there. There's not a whole, not that I saw, there wasn't a whole lot of, there wasn't a whole lot, they were talking a lot of good stuff about Lyra on commentary, and she's the first and current women's intercontinental champion, and she just kind of, it just felt like she was there. And I myself am always going to have compassion and extreme passion for the careers of Irish and Scottish professional wrestlers, being that I am predominantly Scots-Irish in family lineage and stuff like that. I'm always gonna, wave my flag super hard for the Irish and Scottish wrestlers. Finn, Drew, Lyra, Sheamus, Dewdrop? I forget what the hell her dumbass WWE name is now, unless they changed it back. I forget. Piper Niven. Jordan Devlin. Yeah, like my youngest son's first name is Finley. I'll put it to you that way. So, it just kind of bums me out that a lot of her matches have been good from what I've seen on Raw, as far as title defenses and just one-on-ones on Raw, but it's just kind of like there. You win the Women's Intercontinental Championship, and it's just kind of, That's my personal opinion, but I have yet to really be able to sit and watch a lot of matches full-on with Lyra, so now that I have access to Netflix and Raw a little more regularly, I'm going to try to go back, like, from the beginning of Raw on Netflix and just watch it back. Probably from the beginning of maybe her Intercontinental Championship win. I think that was the first Raw on Netflix, so... looking it up, back to the Bianca promo, because my notes got switched around how they formatted everything as I was writing stuff. I wrote down, like, the stuff for the match entrances, and then the Bianca promo came on as that was happening. Like, shit. So, real quick with the Bianca promo, she cuts in, they do the Bianca promo, she talks about, getting the opportunity, and points out more or less that she's undefeated at WrestleMania, and she's already proven herself overall, but in multiple different situations against multiple people or one-on-one. Overall, a pretty good promo. They did promos for each woman for the triple threat for the Women's World Championship. I'm personally more hyped for that match than I am Charlotte Tiff, but we'll get to that then. Looking it up, I had to look it up because I couldn't remember if Lyra was Irish or Scottish or whatever it was. I looked it up, and she is Irish, but she is also 2 years younger than me, and it's like, I fucking hate time. I remember watching wrestling, and like every wrestler was at least 10 years older than me, and now it's to the point where like the youngest wrestler is almost 8 years old younger than I am. It's like, oh my god. And like people my age are to like the long, like to a good, like people my age are to a decent standing of either mid to late main event status or early on main event, or mid to late mid card status, getting into like early to mid level main event status. So it's just crazy looking at that and seeing time and stuff like that. Bailey throws amazing suplexes. She hit some, like she does her Bailey to Bailey, but like her belly to back suplexes and her verticals just look so pretty, like just so fluid and good. And then Liv selling them and taking them and everything, and then Liv goes for a really nice attempted, they go to the outside at one point, and then Liv gets Bailey to the point of trying to hit Three Amigos on the outside. So but like her transitions from like suplex roll, they were fluid, they were great. She obviously, Bailey reversed Bailey reversed out of the Three Amigos and then ended up hitting a vertical suplex off the steps onto the floor. Like I think she either took off the first set of steps or did it off of the full set of steps and everything. But that spot, anything on the floor, I'm just always gonna be like, ugh. I did want to note too that like the referee shirts being black with like the two stripes down the left hand side with the logo and everything, those look great. Those look sleek as hell. They look really good. And then the Raw set overall, like comparative to like the last 15 years overall, I would say that like this is probably the best looking that Raw and SmackDown has looked in a long time. 2010s Raw and SmackDown, like the Super Show sets and stuff like that, they were so fucking bland. Like the sets when they like for everybody's customized lights and everything for each one, that was cool, but overall it just this set for Raw and SmackDown look amazing. I won't lie. Bailey ends up reversing something of Liv's into a stunner, and I don't know if it was Bailey not being able to sink the arm around Liv or Liv not getting to Bailey in time, but it just looked very sloppy. And it happens. Nobody's gonna hit a stunner perfectly every single time. It's always either the person giving or the person receiving, or both. Interference overall near the end of the match by Raquel, and then Raquel selling the stunner from Bailey then after it made up for that previous stunner sell. At one point everybody's fighting, blah blah. Bailey is on the outside of the ring on the ropes. Liv goes to, or no, they're both on the inside of the ring. Liv goes to schoolboy or roll pin Bailey, but Lyra ends up coming up on the apron on the outside and hugging her arm around Bailey so she doesn't get pulled out from the ropes to get pinned. I thought that was a really cool spot. It was something different. There was a lot of really cool spots on the show. We'll go get to that point. I am a little bummed overall. Bailey gets the win overall. I figured Liv was probably going to end up... I figured it was going to be a dusty finish with a DQ or interference or something. A DQ or count out. But overall, it wasn't bad. My biggest thing with the women's division right now, there's no championship matches for the women's Intercontinental or the women's US. It just kind of frustrates me because it's like, why have these titles? I mean, granted, they're going to probably have them down the road. I pray to God we eventually get another Evolution pay-per-view. I am one of those. I am in that camp. I would love to see another Evolution pay-per-view. I think that would be fantastic. Then after the match, then it cuts to just another promo package of Roman, Seth, and Punk's hype, all the stuff, tumultuous relationship with Heyman. I feel the overall master plan is that Paul is going to pick either Punk or Seth. And like myself and my father were talking about it this morning, it just kind of feels like Roman has kind of just been put to the wayside in this overall storyline. It just kind of seems unfair. But after the overall promo package for the triple threat main event for night one, it goes to Ray versus Julius Creed. This match. Personally, I think the LWO is such a mixed-matched faction. Like, it's a lot of really good guys, and I love the LWO and the concept from WCW and then doing it here in WWE now. But at the same time, it just feels like the LWO as a group is so underutilized. Like, you could have such an amazing faction of Latino superstars, and I feel like it's wasted. Ray's gear looks really cool, like Ray in the style of the current Monday Night Raw logo and everything, the color pattern. Like, Ray's always got fucking amazing gear. Julius Creed is a cool looking dude. Like, I hadn't really paid attention to the Creed brothers in NXT and then them coming up, but they are some cool looking dudes. The commentary goes over that this coming WrestleMania is going to be Ray's 13th match at WrestleMania, and it just makes me feel old again. And it's like, stop it. But it's pretty cool to see him still going at this rate and everything like that, especially with the matches that they did. Creed, I'm finding out through commentary that Creed had been a wrestler through the University of Duke. My dad is a huge Duke basketball fan, so that's always been something cool for me. They're not cool for me, but like something, they're like, oh, cool, from Duke, nice. But I guess I believe a two-time NCAA champ through the University of Duke. Like, that's cool. Overall, the match was amazing. After a while, obviously, the LWO and the other members of Creed's faction, I can't remember the name of their group now, American Made, they end up getting tossed out by the ref, so it's just Ray and Creed, and obviously sets up shit for later. So the Wrestle Talk didn't really talk about it, but I will. They end up doing this spot where Ray ends up getting seated on Julius's shoulders, front facing, for her Hurricanrana. He goes to take Julius over the top rope with the Hurricanrana, but I don't know, because I rewound it like 2 or 3 times, and from what I can tell, Ray wasn't able to grip the top rope when he went over the top rope and everything for the Hurricanrana, so he ended up just flopping to the floor, just like sliding and blah, right to the floor, right on his shoulder and his neck. I was really worried. Even my wife, she wasn't really like watching, but like she ended up seeing me like reactive. She's like, what? And I was like, watch this. She goes, ooh, that's not good. And she knows Ray's getting older, so it's like but they ended up coming back from it and everything. Julius Creed. So at one point, I think Ray gets back into the ring. He baseball slides to the outside, and Julius Creed snatches him from out of the air as Ray's coming out off the apron to the outside, snatches this little fucker out of the air, throws him in a vertical suplex, standing vertical suplex, holds Ray, walks from the outside of the apron up the stair, or outside of the floor, up the stairs to the apron, and then puts him back in. I was like, oh, that is absolutely phenomenal. I thought that was so cool. And I wrote Julius Creed's awesome. And then El Grande Americano comes in, and they show the awkward clip of him putting the metal in the mask. He ends up attacking. I forget if Ray. I won't lie. I forget if Ray actually won. Because I was doing a bunch of stuff at the same time, getting this done. So overall, I think the match itself was awesome. Julius Creed is definitely somebody I have to watch more. I thought he did phenomenally working with like Ray. Ray, I believe working with anybody can get a good match out of anybody. And with his age, even he still looks phenomenal. El Grande Americano. I think it's an amazing gimmick. I think it's hysterical. I completely understand though where there have been reports of a lot of traditional lucha libre fans and workers and veterans being upset with how it's being presented and everything like that. But at the same time, is it not within the same vein that if you're gonna get mad at American professional wrestling to be doing something within the lucha libre aspect, would you be mad? Is the Mexican community or the lucha libre community going to be upset with Japanese wrestlers using masks and caricatures in the same vein or manner? Like, I just feel like you don't. I completely understand the implications of why the lucha libre community is upset, especially with the traditions and the long history of lucha libre. Hell, Fray Tormenta is still one of my favorite, I would say probably one of my favorite luchadors, not only for being like the inspiration for Nacho Libre, but in my personal opinion, like one of the greatest examples of using professional wrestling to benefit others. Fray Tormenta, for anybody who doesn't know, like I said, is the inspiration for Nacho Libre. In the description, I'll link a video explaining like his actual story in his life, as explained by an amazing YouTuber, Count Dankula. He has like 1 or 2 other wrestling related videos that deep dive like the history of wrestlers. They're fantastic. But Fray Tormenta was a legitimate pastor and everything. Like I wholeheartedly am in the camp. I will go to the Vatican with whoever wants to go, and when I believe he's still alive, if he does die, I will be there. Like, I hope that they put him into sainthood and his mask becomes a Catholic relic. That would be fantastic. But overall, the gimmick, the match, I think they all went over pretty well, and I think everybody did really good. So we then go on to the War Raiders promo. Overall, with this one and one other segment in the show, I'm just gonna say I love the War Raiders. Enough said. Just to kind of get through, some other stuff as well. That they are pissed that New Day attacked them attacked their already broken necks, and that it's gonna be a war this coming maybe one Saturday. So then it goes into New Day's promo, pretty much just rebuttal to War Raiders. say they're gonna win. They talk about the mistreatment by fans and by the other wrestlers and management. And then Xavier says that Eric will wish that he broke his neck again. Says after the crowd, Xavier and Kofi have this really good line at the end where Xavier says that the crowd will say thank God for the new day. And I thought that was a nice little touch, at least make it personal, or like to put your own little thing with the promo to make it not just another WrestleMania promo. And then we go into AJ Styles versus Karrion Kross. Overall, these two guys are fantastic. I love both of them. I met AJ at one point in 2015ish, 2014ish, when he left TNA and was going to go to New Japan. He did a couple dates with a couple small indies throughout the country. We were one of them in central Pennsylvania, and I was fortunate and blessed enough to be able to work ring crew and security for that show and meet AJ and talk to him backstage a little bit and tell him like, hey, ask him for advice for a guy who wanted to be a wrestler, was trying to get it training at the time, and he gave some great advice. So much shorter than I genuinely would have thought. I'll be putting up, obviously there's going to be picture me and John with AJ. But overall the match was great. Karrion's gear was made by the same guy that makes AJ's gear, just to mess with AJ. I thought that was an amazing touch. The graphic that popped up for the ring announcers, the commentary team, all that kind of stuff, I really like that, so that you can keep, for me too, who doesn't regularly watch and see those faces, it's hard for me to remember the names and everything. Obviously, like I said before, Scarlett, as with all the other women on the show, they're fucking gorgeous. Karrion Kross making fun of AJ's leg. He comes up to AJ, like, AJ's go, and Karrion just looks at him like Taker laughing at Brock meme style, just, and just making fun of him. I thought that was fantastic. And then Logan Paul overall, AJ wins. Karrion puts his hands behind his back as like part of his master plan, all that kind of stuff. I love that. While taking the phenomenal forearm for the win, or while AJ takes the win. Logan Paul arrives, talks this shit, blah blah blah, hits the pulverizer. I'll be perfectly honest, this is probably the one guy on the entire show that I will tell any and all that I talk to. There was a perfect Paul Heyman meme, and I'm gonna try to insert it here if I can. If not, I'll just, as far as worker goes, cool. As far as the person goes, fuck him. I can't fucking stand him. I don't like him. Say what you will about him as a wrestler. Say what you will about him, what he's done for WWE and Prime and all this other shit. Fuck him. I don't like Logan Paul. Then after that, that goes into Jay's promo. He was saying that Mama Uso's here, so that was pretty funny. You're like, where is he? Or where is she? Says people that keep asking him if he's mentally okay, and he's not, and he's crashing out, but locked in. Says Gunther's afraid. Yeet. That's pretty much the bulk of it. It was a good promo. I was a little iffy about this one, and then once they did that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, they're starting to put at least some kind of good heat behind this. This match, I won't lie, it feels drier than a shitty turkey, man. I won't lie. But we'll see how it goes. So it goes over to Braun in the backstage after some hype packages for the Intercontinental 4-Way. Braun says that, this is my biggest title defense so far. And then all of a sudden, the New Day just came in out of nowhere. They attack Breaker, and then they go out for Penta versus Finn Balor. I will not lie, there was a bunch of stuff in this match. This match overall is the match where I just sat and watched. I took no notes about the actual match, but I will at least try to give my best thoughts on it. Penta's amazing. Finn Balor's amazing. Finn deserves more. As always, if you have a Finn Balor fan in your life, go check on him, give him a hug. I think he deserves far more. At least championship mid-card range. Like, come on. I could watch these guys work all the time. Like, now that Rey Fenix is debuted on SmackDown, I have to go back actually watch that match because I'm super excited to have the Lucha Bros in WWE. Obviously, seeing them in AEW was awesome. They had a lot of amazing matches, especially Penta, but At the same time, I genuinely am excited to see them as a tag team. Motor City Machine Guns versus the Lucha Bros in WWE, War Raiders versus Lucha Bros in WWE, New Day versus Lucha Bros WWE. There are so many different things that you could do, and I'm excited. I can't wait. Penta and Ray joining the LWO, I think would be fucking fantastic, and I think would raise the LWO. Maybe there's a faction war or something, and two people, they kind of exchange people out. Like I said, this match was so good that I couldn't do it justice. It was so good. After a while, Judgment Day come out and they run interference attack. Penta, Breaker comes out. Everybody hits the shit. Finn hits. Everything looked really good. Braun. I really can't pick. Overall for this story, I'm not mad who's in the match. I'm not mad. I will not be mad with whoever comes out on top in this one. Any guy winning the title. Dominic, I'll go through my thoughts specifically on it when we talk about the matches. But then we get into the bigger portion of the final section of the show. My larger portions of, I had to write all this down because it's just the story portions of this so good, and I think it's a part of it's Heyman, part of it is Triple H, but overall it's just so good. And Punk and Roman and Seth, all of those minds coming together is making a really good thing. I think, other than Roman feeling kind of the third wheel kind of in this whole thing. So it goes off to a Friday Hall of Fame promo package talking about Taker and Triple H at WrestleMania in 2012. That was a great one. I remember that one. That whole storyline and all the premise to it was great. After that, it goes to Heyman sitting backstage waiting for Roman. He's joined by Punk. Punk then looks at him. He's like, "Dude, you look so stressed. Let me look into my eyes. What do you see?" And Paul is like, "Oh, the cult of personality." And Punk's like, "No, a friend that's not gonna hurt you and is here for you." And I thought that was really neat. Just something really, something quick, a little cool. Roman arrives. He's pissed off, obviously, seeing them together, and everything. Paul tries to talk to him. He just walks off, and then it goes off into the ring. Paul is walking behind Roman, and Roman's looking back like, I'm not sure. They start off, the big chance for Roman. I pointing to the sky right now. Point to the sky, acknowledgement to the tribal chief. But Roman started, "Sacramento, acknowledge me," and then he just not looking at Heyman's face, but looking at the crowd while in Heyman's face. It was just so good. Heyman's face, like, "Hey, whoa. And Roman says that, "Hey, Sacramento, I love Sacramento, but Sacramento isn't like Paul and wouldn't betray him." And asked Paul why. The crowd chants, "You fucked up." It was pretty cool that the crowd is knowledgeable to join in and be on Roman's side and help progress it. I love when that happens, when the crowd becomes part of the story and helps out. Heyman says that he is simply trying to pay back a favor to Punk and everything like that, but Roman says Roman says that paying back this favor is at his expense, and he doesn't ask for favors. He takes what he wants. He doesn't owe a favor because he didn't ask for one. The line that I really liked out of it overall to sum it was like, "How am I supposed to cover the tab for your dumbass favor?" And Paul's like, "Hey, whoa, And then Seth comes out and it was great. It says after all this time, Roman learned one thing he's been missing, only for it to be too late, as Seth has to destroy him for the future of WWE at Mania. Seth says that he's doing it because it is the right thing to do. The winner will define the future of WWE. Seth says that it can't be Roman. He doesn't show up and he's lazy. kills the business. It says that Punk can't win because he's a leech for the success of others and left and came back and did it again. And Roman knows that too, and the business dies that way too. But if Seth wins, the business will live because he's willing to sacrifice, mental and physical health to do what's necessary for the best, to do what's best for business. Obviously looking right at Roman saying it, old Triple H saying blah blah. Loved it. Like everything here was fantastic. Seth says that Paul owes him a favor for not hurting him last week after the scuffle between Punk and Paul and Roman last week, but says that he's also Paul's also a dishonorable scumbag. that was great. And Seth says Heyman chose Punk over Roman. Why is Paul choosing Punk? Posing the question to Roman, and Roman, wise man. And obviously Paul in the background is like, just my tribal chief, yes, my tribal chief. He says, Seth's right. And Paul made his choice, but, so did Roman, and Roman just, bam, attacked Seth. I thought that was really cool. It's such a weird dynamic to where Roman understands that Paul made these choices and may have made a mistake, but at the same time, he made them, but I'm still going to stand by my boy. And I'm not going to let your punk ass, obviously I'm going to let your punk ass, words, trip up my brain. Obviously, given our history already, I'm not going to let you fuck me up like that. Seth, goes to the outside. Paul is sitting there like, I acknowledge you, but he gets freaking pie-faced crazy. And I was like, oh, I got totally swerved. But, Punk comes out to help out Paul, and Paul then comes out, Punk then comes out to help out Paul, Punk and Roman. Geez, so many fucking names and letters. But Punk and Roman end up, battling it out and everything. But then Punk and Roman end up fighting and everything. Punk stands tall, checks on Paul. If that was a weird sentence. And then as Punk goes to turn around, Roman spears Punk and then makes a comeback for Seth, then to hit him from behind the chair. Exact same cinematic framing as when Seth hit him with the chair in the Shield days. I thought that was really cool. And then Seth wearing almost a tack vest like outfit. I thought that was a nice little touch with it too. I feel like he's always gonna wear that with Roman just to fuck with him. So that overall, Punk stomps out Roman and Punk and stares down Paul. Show fades to black. The nice executive producer thing at the bottom of the screen. Overall, the ending segment I thought was great. I think it went over really well, and I think it. I think that match overall is going to be fantastic, but it just feels like Cena Cody overall is like the big match, obviously, and then Punk, Roman, Seth. That's your second big match. Obviously, there's your two main events for each night, and then everything as Ali had said over at WrestleTalk as I was watching their show this morning. It just seems, and I agree, it just feels like every other match is just kind of there. But let me take a look. Let me pull this up from my own. Come on. There we go. Let me take a look as we pull up from my own reference here. So, let us look at the overall. Oh, jeez. Oh, my microphone. Anyway, let's take a look at WrestleMania weekend. So, and I'll have these graphics up on screen and everything. So obviously we have this past, tonight is going to be NXT. I'll be watching that. That'll be 8 o'clock on the CW and Netflix. We'll be looking forward to the WrestleMania kickoff on Wednesday, or that's Friday for the overall WrestleMania kickoff, more or less. I'm guessing just hype packages and talking about Hall of Fame and stuff like that. SmackDown Friday, Hall of Fame Friday. We're going to be doing a video for the statistics for Hall of Fame. Hopefully by Wednesday or Thursday that'll be out. I'll be working on that. That's probably going to be our next big video to work on. Stand and Deliver on Saturday, and then the Countdown Saturday Mania, and the 2025. Or I'm sorry, no, that's something different. So that's on. So all of those are either going to be, as far as Mania Kickoff, Countdown, Hall of Fame, Mania Kickoff, and Countdown are all on YouTube Peacock. So those are all, we might do some kind of watch with that or something like that, if I can figure that out, all the technical stuff behind that. SmackDown, obviously, USA Netflix. I didn't know that Netflix was showing SmackDown. I actually didn't know that. And then Peacock and YouTube for Hall of Fame. I'll be watching that, and I'm excited for the Hall of Fame. We'll talk about the inductees and all that good stuff probably in another video, probably in a Hall of Fame video. NXT Stand and Deliver. We're going to be doing an NXT review for this past October's Halloween Havoc, which myself and John were a part of. We're probably going to just do a review video on that and talking about the trip and talk about the overall experience. That was both of our first pay-per-view experience, premium live event experiences for WWE. We've both been going to WWE television and house shows for years. So that's been one of that was a cool experience. So then that's all from Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, the 2025 Slammy Awards. They have yet to announce a time. Everything Sunday is going to be a little awkward for me, as that is also my wife's birthday. So she'll be turning 31 and we'll be celebrating. So we're going to be doing stuff with that. And obviously with it also being Easter weekend, we're going to be having plans going on Saturday as well. So I'm going to be trying to get out content. Might end up just doing an overall video for Mania on Monday. Put that out Monday and everything, just talking about the overall weekend. But Hall of Fame, I do want to do a specific video. I want to do a video about not just this class, but the Hall of Fame itself. And then obviously your typical Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown after Manias. Looks like it's a crazy lineup just on a WWE perspective. And then you got all the weekend Mania weekend indie shows and all that kind of stuff going on. It just boggles me how big the weekend itself has gotten. But let us look at night one. So this graphic in itself was put out by Black House Design. I forget exactly. Hello, this is post-editing Smitty here with a quick note. While I was doing the editing for this podcast, I realized I didn't even talk about the men's World Heavyweight Championship match between Gunther and Jey Uso. Real quick thoughts on that before, obviously get into the rest of the pod. This whole feud has felt a little if for me. I love, obviously, like I said, I'm a huge supporter of anybody in the Samoan Dynasty, but at the same time, I am a diehard fan of Gunther. His whole transformation physically and everything that he's been doing has been phenomenal, and I really don't want to see them take the title off of him, but at the same time, it is starting to get to a point where I don't know if it's because of them putting Jay in there that it's gotten kind of a little stale for him, I feel, but at the same time, that's one man's perspective, so I can't say nothing. I still think they're both really good guys, but it's a match I kind of wish would have had a little more hype behind it. But I personally am gonna go with. I'm probably gonna go with Jay on this one. I would usually go Gunther, but I think that the momentum is there for Jay to win the World Heavyweight Championship and carry it pretty well. I think to help elevate another member of the Dynasty of the Bloodline. I call it the Samoan Dynasty because that's what it was before the Bloodline was established as a name, the Samoan Dynasty. But overall, I think the match itself is going to be good. I think we're going to see maybe Jimmy come back and do some stuff. Maybe some other members of the family get interjected, but we'll see. I'm hoping to, with NXT Stand and Deliver in that same vein, that we maybe get some kind of idea about Lance on Hawaii with NXT. But yeah, but there's that note. Back to the regular podcast. I'll put their link in the description below as well if you want to check out their art and everything. I'm a Simpsons fan. I thought this was funny. Overall, for the night one matches, we have the U.S. title match between the U.S. Championship match, men's United States Championship match. Jeez, now with all the different championships, you got to almost be crazy specific. And it's crazy that the women's United States champion Chelsea Green is not even featured on any match on the card, and it pisses me. Even Lyra Valkyrie is in a tag team championship match. It pisses me off. It really does. You put all this work again for these mid-card titles. Chelsea Green is an amazing worker, but yet, doing the Foley tribute a couple weeks ago, but yet you still aren't putting it on Mania. That's bullshit. That is absolute bullshit. But we got the men's United States Championship match between LA Knight and Jacob Fatu. Either one of these guys wins personally. And again, between Irish and Scottish superstars, I am always going to be a defendant and a fan of anyone of the Samoan dynasty. So, or of Samoan descent or culture. So I'm actually going to be pulling for Jacob on that one, as probably a lot of people will. Then we have the match between New Day and War Raiders. I personally am going to be going with War Raiders on that one. I'm a diehard fan of War Raiders, even with their New Japan stuff. I thought they were an amazing, War Machine. New Day, New Day's New Day. I think it's going to be a great tag match. We got the one-on-one between Jade and Naomi, or Jade Cargill and Naomi, with their feud between, I don't know. That one's a tough one. I'm not sure how they want to go with the storyline overall, so I would probably go Jade because of being the babyface in the situation, being her Mania debut. Jade is awesome. Watching her AEW stuff too has been fantastic. Naomi is nothing to scoff at. She's fantastic as well. And then we have Ray versus El Grande Americana. I honestly think El Grande. I'm gonna pull for El Grande Americana just so we can keep getting El Grande Americana, and then he just keeps going. I wanted to keep seeing this, and even if he doesn't keep working specifically with Ray for the storyline, I would love to see more. So then we go on to night 2. We have the street fight between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, I'm gonna be pulling for Drew, but either guy wins. I think it's just going to be a crazy, just beat the fuck out of each other match. AJ versus Logan. I'm not even going to say nothing. AJ all the way. Fuck Logan Paul. That's all I'm going to say. That's all as far as non-title matches. Title matches. Then we have the Women's Tag Team Championship match between Liv Morgan, Raquel versus Bayley and Lyra. I think Liv, I would say the Liv and Raquel retain. I really don't see a point of having Lyra and Bayley win. I would like to see them win. Bayley gets a Mania win. Lyra gets a double champ, kind of situation. But, I mean, there's really no point. There's really no chemistry crazy with the team. In my opinion, there's no point going forward if they win. So I'm going to go with Raquel and Liv. We have the 4-way for the Intercontinental Championship: Dom Mysterio, Finn Balor, Penta, and Braun Breaker. This is probably the match other than Cena. I'd say Jacob Fatu, LA Knight, and the U.S. title match and the Intercontinental Championship match, the WWE Undisputed match, World Tag Title match. Those are the big ones I'm looking at. I'm forward to. Women's World Championship match I'm looking forward to. But this match, I think, is going to be probably the match of the night. I think this is going to be the one to steal the show. Penta and Braun Breaker's Mania debuts, I believe. And overall, they've both done amazing work. My dishwasher making noise in the background upstairs. But if any guy wins in this match, I'm not going to be mad at whoever wins, because I Dom wins, he pisses off Finn, that makes Ridges in the Judgment Day, vice versa. If Finn wins, and then it goes into maybe a longer program with Braun. Braun wins, he opens up the program with anybody and is an amazing Intercontinental Champion right now. And is a cool dude. I love Braun Breaker. He's fantastic. Penta's Penta. I've already talked about that. I think he's phenomenal. Anybody wins, I don't care. I'm just excited to see this match. Women's World Championship, Io Sky versus Rhea versus Bianca Belair. This is probably the women's match I'm excited for. Again, another match where anybody wins, I'm not really going to be mad. I personally think it's going to be Bianca or Io. I think they're going to have maybe Rhea do something else and, maybe just keep going at it as a dope-ass women's wrestler. If not, then, Rhea wins and maybe does a long-term storyline with Bianca, and Io does something else, or Io, switch out Io and Bianca. Bianca wins. I think that would just be really cool. Having a women's world championship, I just love. I love having that. And then the big, Gabuski, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes. Or Cody Rhodes versus John Cena for the undisputed WWE Championship. This match is crazy. I am gonna pull for Cena on this one. I love Cody Rhodes. I love the story that he's built. I think he's an amazing champion, but he's been going at it for how fucking long. This guy deserves a break. I think this is gonna be the point to make an amazing break. Cena is a heel champion, 17-time champ. Ends up, losing, maybe back to Cody in in a month or two to give Cody a break. Or loses it to somebody else on the up and rise, or an established main eventer that could transition to something crazier. But to see Cena win and pretty much replace Flair as 16-time champ, I think that would be phenomenal. I think that would be amazing. Cody wins, I'm not going to be mad. But I would like to see them do some kind of progression with The Rock and all that kind of stuff. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is our show. That is our breakdown for Monday Night Raw, April 14th, 2025, and our look at the overall WrestleMania card and the overall WrestleMania week coming up. So we're going to be trying to put out as many videos as possible. When you see this, like I said, this is being recorded on Tuesday afternoon, so hopefully this will be going out by Tuesday night and or Wednesday morning. So if not, then you're listening to it when you listen to it. Deal with it. Sorry for the headphone users again. I'm still learning mic volumes and stuff like that, all that good stuff. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. If you've watched up to this point, I appreciate you. Make sure to check out our socials. Make sure to check out TikTok. Make sure to check out the YouTube channel. All our other videos and everything. Make sure to check all the cool people and different links in the description if you're interested. And we will catch you guys in the next podcast episode. Hopefully John will be with me. If not, I will see you guys. You guys, stay chilly. Peace. That didn't sound cool. That sounded fucking cheesy. That sounded like shit. Don't have too much fun. If you have too much fun, don't get caught. Be nice to each other and don't be a dick. There you go. That sounds a lot more genuine. But take care, everybody. We'll see you in the next one.